Okay, full transparency here. We had planned to release this video off the back of Cody Rhodes' big championship win at WrestleMania 39, but as you all know by now, that didn't happen. Whoops. Still, Rhea Ripley won the SmackDown Women's Championship, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are your new tag team champions, so maybe they will have a shot at joining this list someday. Although, with Vince McMahon back in charge, maybe not. For now, though, let's look back at happier times. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 best championship reigns that began at WrestleMania. Join us! Number 10, Randy Savage, the WWE Championship, won at WrestleMania 4. After the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, screwed Hulk Hogan out of the WWE Championship in 1988, a one-night tournament was held at WrestleMania 4 to crown a new top dog. The finals came down to Ted and Randy Savage, with the Macho Man overcoming the odds to win his first ever world title. Savage would reign with the gold for over a full year, main eventing SummerSlam and the next year's WrestleMania in the process. All of this is great stuff, so why isn't he higher up on this list? Well, one word: brother! Despite being the official main man for over 365 days, Savage constantly played second fiddle to the Hulkster during his time on top. Hogan was also there in the SummerSlam main event. He eliminated Savage from the 1989 Royal Rumble, and he was the one to dethrone him at WrestleMania 5. Still, you cannot deny the impressive length of Macho's title reign, nor the excellent Mega Powers Explode storyline that led to the WrestleMania 5 match. It would have been nice if he had had a little bit of room to breathe whilst champion, but that was never gonna happen while Santa with muscles was hanging around. Number 9, Shawn Michaels' WWE Championship won at WrestleMania 12. Shawn Michaels realized his boyhood dream in the main event of WrestleMania 12 when he beats Bret Hart in sudden death overtime following an exhausting 1-hour Iron Man match. Seriously, I was knackered after watching that many headlock takeovers. The Heartbreak Kid would be forced to pull the wagon in the absence of the Hitman, who went on a lengthy sabbatical after dropping the gold. If there's one person who could take the reins from someone as talented and consistent as Bret Hart, it is Shawn Michaels, and HBK had a commendable 8-month reign which saw him have tremendous pay-per-view matches with Diesel, British Bulldog, Vader, and Mankind, as well as gripping TV bouts with Steve Austin, Marty Jannetty, and Owen Hart. Even the match where he dropped the belt against Sid at Survivor Series was up there with the best matches the Master and Ruler of the World ever had. Competing with a red-hot WCW and hurting from a lack of star power, WWE weren't exactly firing on all cylinders at the time, and Shawn has been criticized for a perceived lack of drawing ability. But Michaels was an artist, and he painted several masterpieces on the canvas of his choosing during his 231-day reign, which stands as the longest of his WWE career. Number 8, Bret Hart Intercontinental Championship won at WrestleMania 8. Despite being one of the most popular stars of his generation, Rowdy Roddy Piper only won one singles championship in WWE. That, of course, was the Intercontinental Championship, which he would eventually drop to Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8. Hart and Piper had an excellent match, one of the best in the title's history on the grandest stage. The excellence of execution rolled out of a sleeper hold to pin Hot Rod and then ended the match with a show of respect. It was beautiful stuff. Hart would reign for 146 days before dropping the title in yet another all-time classic match, the main event of SummerSlam 1992 against his brother-in-law, the British Bulldog. Hart and Bulldog put on another of the greatest IC title matches of all time in front of a rabid crowd of Davey Boy's fellow Brits. In fact, the match was so good that nobody could tell that Davey Boy wasn't in the best of ways for the entire thing. For the way this title reign began and ended, the Hitman more than deserves his place on this list. Number 7, the British Bulldogs World Tag Team Championships won at WrestleMania 2. A huge win in the main event of the Illinois portion of WrestleMania 2. You know, that famously good idea to have one show spread out over 3 different locations. Worked so well, that did. Along with partner Dynamite Kid, Davey was challenging for the World Tag Team Championships against the Dream Team of Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine. The Dream Team was their name, by the way, not an endorsement from me. They are far from my dream tag team, Mojo Rawley and Perry Saturn, thank you very much. Not only were the Bulldogs the babyface favourites going into the match, but they also had heavy metal legend Ozzy Osbourne in their corner. Although that did get awkward when he tried to bite Valentine's head off. The Bulldogs picked up the win and reigned for a whopping 294 days as champions. This is one of the longest title reigns in the history of the belts, and the duo were treated as megastars for the entire duration. Hey, I said it was one of the longest title reigns in the history of the World Tag Team Championships, because actually, there's a longer one. Number 6, Demolition, the World Tag Team Championships, won at WrestleMania 4. 2 years after Davey Boy and Dynamite Kid won the titles, Axe and Smash of Demolition also captured the belts by beating Strikeforce at WrestleMania 4. What followed was a championship reign of epic proportions as the Road Warrior knockoffs held onto their precious prizes for a frankly crackers 478 days. This is the longest reign in the history of those particular straps, and would have been the longest tag title reign period were it not for those pesky New Day and Uso boys. Somewhere Axe and Smash are shaking their fists into the air. This gargantuan run would carry over to WrestleMania 5, where the pair were forced to defend the belts against the Powers of Pain and their former manager, Mr. Fuji. Demolition's record-setting reign would eventually come to an end in the summer of 1989 when the team lost a 2 out of 3 falls match to the Brainbusters. Demolition will always have a place in the history of tag team wrestling in WWE, even if those darned young'uns have now stolen their crown. Number 5, Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Championship, won at WrestleMania 35. WrestleMania 35 saw history made when 3 women main evented the show for the first time ever. It also entered the history books as the longest thing to ever happen ever. I'm pretty sure it's still going on somewhere. The groundbreaking triple threat ended with Becky Lynch overcoming Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey to win both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Let's just gloss over the fact that Rousey's shoulders were clearly off the mat when Becky pinned her. Lynch's reign with the blue belt would end after just 41 days when she lost it back to Charlotte at Money in the Bank. Her time with the red strap, however, was much longer, as the last kicker would be Raw champion for almost 400 days. She would regularly defend the title against the likes of Lacey Evans, Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Asuka. And she would have been champion for much longer too, had she not been forced to give up the belt after falling pregnant. Moral of the story, kids ruin everything. You could argue that she should have dropped the title to Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania 36, but this was still a big-time reign from big-time Bex. Number 4, Drew McIntyre, the WWE Championship, won at WrestleMania 36. After blasting Brock Lesnar in the face on his way to winning the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre squared off against the Beast for the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania 36's second night. In a short yet punchy affair, the Scotsman dethroned the Beast incarnate to win his first ever world title and finally fulfill Vince McMahon's prophecy of him being the chosen one. Over the next 200 or so days, McIntyre firmly established himself as the main event talent that we all knew he could be. He put on great matches, carried himself like a star, and put together one of the best babyface title reigns of the modern era. There were a few issues though. One is that WWE made the baffling decision to have McIntyre lose the belt to Randy Orton for less than a month in October, meaning that he could have had an even longer uninterrupted reign. Secondly, and this is no fault of Drew's, but all of this good stuff took place with no crowd to see it as we were knee-deep into the pandemic at the time. Sorry Drew, but you can't argue with germs. Trust me, I've tried. Number 3, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the WWE Championship, won at WrestleMania X7. This might be a controversial one, but hear us out. Stone Cold Steve Austin began 3 different world title reigns at WrestleMania. The first lasted 91 days before he dropped the belt to Kane for one night in 1998. The second lasted just 56 days before The Undertaker took it off him at Over the Edge. And then there is number 3, aka the night Austin turned heel and possibly ended the ultra-lucrative Attitude Era as we knew it. After battering The Rock with that McMahon-endorsed steel chair, Austin reigned for 175 days as a psychotic, paranoid heel. This run encompassed his partnership with Triple H, his time in the Alliance, and would have likely been longer had WWE not given the belt to Kurt Angle as a feel-good moment after 9/11. The way in which he won the belt may have been dodgy, but Austin's 2001 World Championship reign might just be his best time on top. He had great matches, did some of his best ever character work, and spent more time with the belt than at any other point in his career. Search your feelings, you know it to be true. Number 2, Seth Rollins, the WWE Championship, won at WrestleMania 31. Seth Rollins pulled off one of the greatest Mania endings ever when he cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase in the middle of the scheduled WWE title match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. In the heist of the century, honestly one of the best calls in Michael Cole's career right there, Rollins pinned Reigns to win his first ever World Championship, scurrying back up the ramp like a chipmunk with a dyed blonde streak. Over the next 221 days, Rollins turned from sniveling cowardly heel into one of the best big match performers the company had on their books. His matches with CENA, Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, and more were all good fun as he slowly transformed into a main event player. Yes, the title reign did end on a downer when he blew out his knee, and yes, he did nearly kill Sting, but this was the Architect's coming out party as a top star, and that has to count for something. Number 1, John Cena, the United States Championship, won at WrestleMania 31. After failing to defeat Rusev the month before, Big Match John took on the Bulgarian Brute in sun-drenched California at Mania 31. Even a wonky-looking springboard stunner couldn't stop him from beating that foreign menace and winning back the belt for Old Glory. Oh, say, can you see? What followed was 147 days of some of the best work of Cena's career. Through his weekly open challenges, he shone a spotlight on some of the best young talent in the business and had great matches with the likes of Dean Ambrose, Neville, Bad News Barrett, and Cesaro. This was also the run that included his incredible feud with Kevin Owens, which honestly would be enough to get this reign on the list by itself. Even the way he lost the championship was awesome, and a winner-takes-all match also for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. I mean, it was awesome if you ignore the part where comedian Jon Stewart cost Cena the title. Always a caveat, isn't there?